Jesus presented another parable to them, saying, "The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went away. But when the wheat sprouted and bore grain, then the tares became evident also. The slaves of the landowner came and said to him, 'Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares?' And he said to them, 'An enemy has done this.' The slaves said to him, 'Do you want us then to go and gather them up?' But he said, 'No, for while you are gathering up the tares, you may uproot the wheat with them. Allow both to grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest I will say to the reapers, First gather up the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them up, but gather the wheat into my barn.' Then he left the crowds and went into the house, and his disciples came to him and said, 'Explain to us the parable of the tares of the field.' And he said, 'The one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man, and the field is the world. And as for the good seed, these are the sons of the kingdom, and the tares are the sons of the evil one. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil, and the harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are angels. So just as the tares are gathered up and burned with fire, so shall it be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send forth his angels, and they will gather out of his kingdom all stumbling blocks, and those who commit lawlessness, and will throw them into the furnace of fire. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears, let him hear." Matthew 13:24 through 30 and 13:36 through 43. The parable of the tares describes the pollution of the millennial kingdom during its last days, along with the manner of the divine solution. Rebelliousness is allowed to come to fruition, which in this case means the actual assault upon Jerusalem, the Messiah's capital city. After the destruction of the attacking force, the remainder of those who set their hearts against Jesus in response to the evil one will be uprooted and burned, a metaphorical reference to the last judgment and their final end, the lake of fire. In all this we see a very clear parallel to Satan's temptation of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Like our first parents, the millennial population will find themselves living under marvelous circumstances, and yet will still be vulnerable to the offer of something more, not knowledge, as in the case of Eve, but freedom, as the devil will deceitfully frame the issue for them, Psalm 2:1 through 3. Thus the millennial kingdom of Jesus Christ will be the third and final paradise which Satan will corrupt, having first suborned 1/3 of angelic kind, and having thus brought about the destruction of the original earth, and having next deceived and corrupted Eve, and through her Adam, and having thus brought about their expulsion from the garden. Each such action has of course only furthered God's plan, bringing about the creation of mankind in the first instance, and initiating the process of human history in the second. At the conclusion of the Gog-Magog rebellion, history will be brought to an end, and the eternal state will commence, following, that is, the final disposition of Satan and his followers, and the final reward of the millennial believers, along with the last judgment of all unbelievers. As can be seen from the short description in Revelation 27 through 9 of the complete and instantaneous annihilation of the vast multitudes who will attack Jerusalem in those days, the devil's representations are, as always, mere lies and deceit. For the utter folly of opposing the power of God is something which only blind arrogance can fail to see, and that folly born of arrogance comes through very clearly in the other major passage to treat this revolt. Psalm 2. Why are the nations forming into a mob, and the peoples of the earth grumbling idly? The kings of the earth are assembling, and its princes are gathering together, against the Lord and his anointed one, saying, Let us pull off their chains and cast their cords from us. The one enthroned in heaven will laugh. The Lord will mock them. At that time he will speak to them in his anger, and in his wrath he will throw them into confusion. But as for me, I have anointed my king upon Zion, my holy mountain. I shall relate the Lord's decree. He said to me, You are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I shall give you the nations as your inheritance, and as your possession the ends of the earth. You shall shepherd them with a rod of iron, and you shall shatter them like a potter's vessel. So now, O kings, learn prudence. Take warning, you judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with reverence and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, that is, pay homage to him, lest he become angry with you and you perish for your insolent behavior. For his anger may blaze up in an instant if you do not. Blessed are all those who take refuge in him. Psalm 2, 1-12. Finally, this rebellion and the disaffection and dislocation it will temporarily cause worldwide, conditions to which the millennial population will be otherwise entirely unaccustomed, will also serve to provide a litmus test for the essential spiritual status of all those inhabiting the earth at that time, soon to be brought up, at the final judgments which precede eternity. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit on his throne in heavenly glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, that is, after that millennial reign, and he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? The king will reply, I tell you the truth, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me. Then he will say to those on his left, Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me. They also will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison, and did not help you? He will reply, I tell you the truth. Whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. Then they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life. Matthew 25:31-46. For this time will truly be a time of testing for the entire world, and those not directly involved in the military aspects of the rebellion will still have to face the issue of how to treat believers being persecuted, opposed, or hindered by satanic forces in their journey to Jerusalem. For their actions towards the least of these will be a clear indication of their faith or lack thereof. Oh, the raging of many nations! They rage like the raging sea. Oh, the uproar of the peoples! They roar like the roaring of great waters. Although the peoples roar like the roar of surging waters, when he rebukes them they flee far away, driven before the wind like chaff on the hills, like tumbleweed before a gale. In the evening sudden terror. Before the morning they are gone. This is the portion of those who loot us, the lot of those who plunder us. Isaiah 17:12-14.